Welcome back to Heart of the Woods. Fair word of warning here. I have a cold, a pretty bad cold too. So if the voices sound off and if I have to like if you hear sniffles and stuff like that, that's why. Anyway, let's continue this. It's a bit of a. This episode is going to go up a bit late. I'm recording this at like 10 p.m. I think. What time is it actually? Oh, it's 11 p.m. Holy shit! I've been very busy today. Doing other things. So let's just get to it. Let's continue. Last thing that happened was Tara got thrown into a bookcase or a wall or something by Evelyn's magic. We met the tree spirit, and Morgan basically told Tara that Maddie's probably dead. And Tara doesn't want to believe it, but I believe she's sort of coming to terms with it. Anyway, we're currently we're in Morgan's perspective, so let's continue. Tara does her best to help me get her up the stairs, but whether it's due to injury or shock, she's barely able to stay standing while leaning on me. Climbing a staircase is difficult, but at the moment there isn't really anywhere else I can take her. When I open the door to my room, Galadura is in the center of the bed, cleaning her paws contemplatively. She doesn't look up at us. Come on, let's get you on the bed. I half expect Tara to give some kind of knowing look as she stumbles over to the bed, but she doesn't. She just nods weakly. Tara collapses face first over the side of the bed. Galadura doesn't even budge as it shakes with the weight. She acts like she doesn't even notice. Galadura, move, please. No response. She just continues slowly raking her tongue over her paws. Ever since Tara and Maddie got here, she's been particularly obstinate. I wish I knew why. It's hard not to be frustrated with her, especially with everything that's happened today, but I do my best to just gently force her to move by climbing onto the bed next to Tara. Galadura finally looks at me, paw held indignantly in the air. Oh, is it time? I think it's time. There's plenty of room on the floor. Tara shoots back up, yelping and almost knocking me over. She doesn't seem to notice as she stares down at Galadura with wide eyes. Did your cat just talk? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mute my phone. It's been a while since I made that mistake. Galadura cranes her neck around to look at Tara and speaks again. No. Oh, I think you just gave her the sort of Tara's voice there. No. I'm going to do it with this voice. Yeah? That's really annoying. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going that. Okay. Her voice is languid and drips out of her mouth like syrup. Tara's eyes start back from the cat, to me, to the cat again, hoping for some kind of concrete response. Yeah, I told you. Her face lights up with newfound energy. The lines of pain that increased disappear in an instant. I knew it! I knew I could trust you! Sure, it was weird she didn't actually talk, but I get it. Shy around strangers, that's valid and also a big mood. But I knew it! I knew you weren't lying! I smile. After everything we've been through together, a part of me feels warm when she says that. My chest glows with a warmth I've only felt around Tara. After everything, it should be obvious that she believes me. But Tara's sincerity catches me by surprise every time. Galadura doesn't seem to find it as endearing. She rises methodically, then paws towards the foot of the bed. I'm worried about her. Every month she's gotten more and more cat-like, but this was the first time that she didn't speak at all. And we're so close to the full moon now. She's not going to get much stronger than this. I can't help but wonder how much time she has left. Galadura, how are you feeling? She looks up at me with bright blue eyes, alive with magic and intelligence. I feel hungry. Did you bring me food, Morgan? I don't think you did. She stares at me. The expression on her cat's face is unreadable. I didn't. I'm sorry, Galadura. It's been a difficult morning. I look to Tara. You don't have anything, do you? I think I have a melted chocolate bar in my pocket, but can magical talking cats eat chocolate? Galadura regards Tara silently, her white tail swishing slowly across the bedsheets. Then, without saying anything or giving any other indication of her intentions, she turns and hops onto the windowsill. Galadora, wait. She turns her head back to me and gazes into my eyes. I feel like I'm being measured. I always feel that way around her. No, you wait. She turns away and sways her tail lazily. I will be back. And with that, she leaps from the window to the branches of the nearby tree. She slips through them like a rush of white water until she is gone from sight. Tara and I sit there quietly for a few minutes before she finally speaks. Your cat is weird. Yeah, a little. Tara smiles. I smile back and we sit there, together. Oh, CG time. Oh, no. Galadora is gone for hours. I need to talk to her. Things have changed so much today. I think she'll know what to do. I hope she will. In the meantime, I attend to Tara. She protests at first, saying she's fine. I don't doubt she thinks that, but I want to confirm that for myself. Eventually, I'm able to convince her to let me look. Her back is essentially one giant bruise, but that's it. Doesn't look like anything was broken, at least. It's a relief, but maybe we were just lucky. Maybe next time Evelyn will do worse. There's no telling what she's capable of. And I can't let anyone else get hurt. So, what's the deal with gelato? I open my mouth to speak before I can. Tara cuts me off. I mean, I know she can talk. Please don't say she can talk. You're gonna say she can talk, and I'm just seriously asking you don't. I want to know what her deal is. Promise me you won't say she can talk. I promise I won't say she can talk. Tara nods. Her name is Galadora. Tara stares at me for a second before we both laugh. Okay. Her name is Geldorado. But why can she talk? I've met a lot of weird cats, but none of them could actually talk. Well, it's because she's not really a cat. Of course. Tara tries her best to sound like she's completely understood the situation now, but it's obvious she hasn't. I take a deep breath. Galadora isn't a cat. She's a fairy. I don't know a lot more than that. I know Evelyn cursed her to be in that form. Her memories are hazy though, and it's only been getting worse. She wasn't always like this. She's been around as long as I can remember. She only started talking to me when I was 12, but even back then she's forgetting she was ever a fairy. I'm worried that soon she's not going to be anything other than a house cat. Tara nods, seemingly taking everything in, and then she's quiet a moment, thinking about it. She doesn't really seem that helpful. I nod my head sadly. She used to be. I'd have never known anything about what Evelyn was without her. I bite my lip. For a long time, she was my only friend. She was the only one I could really trust. I still believe in her. I still believe she can help. I look away. Even if I'm telling her my story, there's still so much I'm not ready to share about growing up here. I don't know if I'll ever be ready. I know it sounds like I was just a lone little kid looking for a friend, but I promise she has the knowledge we need in there, somewhere. Tara starts to lean toward me while letting out a grunt of pain as she moves. I go to push her back down into the bed, but before I can do that, her arms wrap around me. She gives me a gentle squeeze and I lean into her response. I want to hug her too, but I know that wouldn't be doing her back any favors. So I sit there and let her hold me. Try to take refuge in it. Try to remember that I'm not alone. You don't have to make excuses. I believe you. And I'm sorry you had to grow up like that. It's their loss that I didn't stick around to see how cool you turned out to be. She pulls back and grins at me. That same goofy grin I've seen hundreds of times before. But it's so much better in person than it was on a screen. And it's exactly what I need right now. Tara and I wait out the day watching dumb videos on the internet, trying to take our mind off things, if only for a moment. They take longer to buffer than to watch. It's dark by the time Galadora slips back through the window. She's quiet, but even if I hadn't seen her, I'd still know she was there. Something about the air in the room changes when she enters it, the same as Evelyn. Galadora thinks they were close once. She doesn't know how, but I believe her. Hello, Galadora. Meowdy! I'm stunned for a brief moment. How was your hunting? She looks at me, and if ever a cat to give a self-satisfied grin, I swear she would right now. Her voice seemed to luxuriate in it. It was good, Morgan. Much better than your hunt this morning. She jumps into my lap and rubs her head against my hand. How does she know about that? I know much about Evelyn. Her voice is deep as stone and rumbles in her throat with a purr. Okay, I've been doing the voice wrong then. So a deep voice for a cat. Yeah. I'm going to go back and read. Okay. I know much about Evelyn. That sounds wrong. I know much. I'm going to just go with what I did. She stops rubbing on my hand for a moment and looks up at me. And Evelyn knows everything about you. What did you think would happen, cursed child? I hate when she calls me that. I've spent years dealing with it looming over me, and the last thing I want is her rubbing it in. Even more, I hate that she's right. I should have known this would happen. I should have kept Tara from going to the office. But I never imagined Evelyn was that strong, and Tara's paying the price for my failure. Evelyn is as good a hunter as any cat. She'll never let her prized vessel out of her sight. She's watching you even now, Morgan. And when the moon is full, she will finally strike. And then, still in my lap, she curls up and closes her eyes. I'm not going to get any more out of her tonight. Tara doesn't say anything for a while. She looks contemplative even. But when she does speak, she asks the question I knew she would. Why'd she call you cursed? I wish I could lie. It may be the first time I ever wanted to lie to someone other than Evelyn, but I can't. Tara deserves to know what she's involved in. Because I am. Tara stares at me, half in shock. She quietly waits for me to continue. I hesitate a moment before continuing, regardless. Evelyn is not my real mother. My real mother died before I was born, and whatever Evelyn is, she took her body. She's done it to our family for years. Galadura and I pieced it together from town records and scraps on my mother's diary. Every couple of decades she has to change hosts, and I look into Tara's eyes. This is the first time I ever told all this to anyone. And you're next. Tara says the words I don't want to. I nod. Evelyn's going to make her move on the night of the full moon. That's what Galadura says. I close my eyes. I know she's right, but I don't want to admit it. Even to myself. The full moon is so close. And then I feel a hand, gripped tight on my own. I open my eyes and I see Tara staring back into them. Wow, that's a lot. And it's really hard for me to know what to say here, but thank you for telling me. We're gonna stop Evelyn, and if it has to be before the moon is full, for whatever reason, then we'll do that, and then we'll save Mads. We'll stop her. I swear. She's smiling so big and broad, and she sounds so damn confident. I want to believe her. More than anything, I hope she's right. For the first time in my life, I want to trust someone. Oh, back to Maddie. Okay, cool. God, I'm running out of voices. I'm running out of voices bad. I was preparing for Galadura's voice, since episode 1. But, I didn't think, I didn't realize until I did the voice that, it is basically Tara's voice with, a bit of a nasal thing added to it, which I can't even do properly now because of the cold. And that's I don't know. I'm doing my best, and thank you for the kind comments, by the way. There was one kind comment recently about the voices, and I've gotten some on Twitter as well, so that's nice. Okay. I'm starting to get used to it, just a little bit. I've done my best to keep a regular human schedule as much as I can, going to bed at night, waking up in the morning. Even if they're unnecessary, they help me feel a little bit more like myself. Not quite everything has changed. Hunger or not, I'd kill for a cheeseburger or something, though. I don't know what I'd do without Abigail. She's never far from my side, and she's my anchor through all this. Endlessly supportive and positive. I heard she views my circumstances, well, differently than I do, that she enjoys having me here. But I can't fault her for that. I still can't fathom the depth of the loneliness she's felt, with nothing but a silent tree spirit for company. The days we spent together have been pleasant enough, but I still don't want to accept this fate. I can't. I rise from my spot on the stone floor. Sunlight pours through the stained glass window of the church, and has been for some time now. Has been much snow since the storm that I was caught in. All of my time has been spent here in the church, or exploring the woods with Abigail. I try to see the charm in some of the places she's taking me, but they all feel the same. Trees and rocks and snow in varying combinations. The forest may be huge, but it's stifling in how repetitive it all feels. I keep hoping that Tara and Morgan might come by, so I could at least see them, even if they can't see me. So far, they haven't. I look around the church, expecting to see Abigail waiting like usual, but she's nowhere to be found. I can hear her, though, from just outside the church. Singing. I move to the doors to watch. Oh. The positioning of characters is a bit awkward in this, especially with Gilladura. Just a few feet away, she stands with her back to the church and me, her arms outstretched, but not fully. She sways softly as she sings. And God, how she sings. Her voice has a lilting cadence, and not even the wind dares interrupt or quiet her. It's unreasonably beautiful, the kind of voice that if you heard it on the radio, you'd have to pull out your phone to see who you're listening to. And to think, I get my own private concert like this. She faces the sky, and I don't need to be able to see her face to visualize the smile that I can hear in her voice. The song she's singing is wordless, but still beautiful. I wonder if it's something she came up with herself. I imagine her spending years playing with the melody, or maybe she's just making it up as she goes along. I notice then that I'm not the only one watching. A small flock of half a dozen or so birds crowd around her feet, watching in rapt attention. They hop around, occasionally sheeping to join in. She waves a hand and they flutter about, never perching on her but never leaving either. From the trees, just barely peeking out, a young deer observes as well. It isn't close enough for her to touch, but close enough for me to count the spots on its belly. It's just like something out of a cartoon, where she's the fairy tale princess who's friends with the wildlife. I wonder if it's because of her in particular, or if the animals don't feel threatened just because we're spirits, not flesh and blood. All too soon, it's over. Her voice fades away without wobbling, and the birds instantly disperse. The deer bounds back into the woods, invisible. She turns to face me. Good morning, Madison. I'm blushing, and I don't know why. Good morning. That was amazing. Thank you. I hope I didn't wake or disturb you. Nah, not at all. Besides, if I'd known, I'd gotten up early just to hear more. Ah, you're flattering me. No way. Not at all. I mean it. You have a beautiful voice. Now she's blushing too. Thank you. How did you learn to do that without scaring away the animals? It wasn't really a matter of learning. It just happened naturally, over time. I sing for myself, first and foremost. I think eventually they realized I wasn't a threat. Seemed like they were enjoying the show too. It's quite a compliment if even the birds like my song. There was a deer too. You might not have seen him though. He was kind of hiding in the bushes. Oh, was he? I'll have to introduce you next time. He's quite friendly too. Really? You know him? Most likely. I suppose it could have been a new deer. I'd have to see him to know for sure. Nowadays there are these things called petting zoos where you can pay money to walk around and pet tame animals like deer and sheep and pigs. I've never heard of them just making friends with people though. That sounds marvelous. Have you ever been to one? Not since I was a lot younger. They're mostly for kids. Adults in the modern world sound awfully boring in that case. Abigail walks to my side, standing close like she always does. I wonder if it's intentional. Together, we face the forest. She touches my arm, so lightly that I wonder if that's intentional too. If you're feeling up for it, there's some place I'd like to show you here in the forest. It's one of my favorite spots. Of course. Lead on. I'd love to see anything that you think is special. Besides, it's not like I have anything anywhere else to be. I refrain from saying that out loud. I'm genuinely interested in what she wants to show me. I like spending time with Abigail. But I hope that she'll also be willing to answer some more of my questions now, too. Having fun together is nice, but it just feels like a distraction from the matter at hand. Speaking of hands, Abigail takes mine, ever so gently. Let's go then. We take off at a brisk pace, but the distance falls away faster than normal. I'm borne along by her boundless enthusiasm and surely more than a little magic. Trees fly by at a blur, impossibly fast. It's like being on a train again. Like snowflakes, they melt into my vision faster than I can really notice. Speed is some gift of the forest, I imagine, a consolation for what it's done to me. Our footsteps are formless against the snow, we're walking in the air. It's the same as when I first met Abigail. That feels like an eternity ago. For at least a couple hours more, I try to push those thoughts away so I can enjoy whatever it is she wants to show me. I want to enjoy this. For my own sake. For her sake, too. I have trouble thinking of anything other than her. The gentleness of her grip, the light and joyful way she moves around across the ground, the certainty with which she pulls me forward. Every so often, she turns around to make sure I'm still there, though I'm sure she's very aware of our interlocked fingers. I know that I am. Guess I can add that to the ever-growing list of feelings to sort through. The forest shifts even faster than it did a few days ago. When we went to visit the spirit, it changes too fast for me to keep track of any reference points. If I try to focus on one spot for too long, I get a little dizzy. So I stop focusing on that and just go with the flow. Eventually, Abigail... Oh. I don't know if you can hear that, but my cat is meowing. I don't know what she's meowing about, though. She seems to just be resting on the sofa. And she probably just wants attention. She'll have to wait until I'm done recording, though. Eventually, Abigail slows our pace, and the passing of the forest reverts to a normal rate as well. At first glance, it seems like any other park we visited, but when I look closer, I start to notice small differences. Some trees are devoid of snow, with piles of it beneath them as if someone brushed them clean. Oh, this is pretty! Others are decorated with a strange paint-like streaks of color, mostly blue, but some are white. On other trees, icicles dangle from the branches and give off a strange glow. When I approach to examine one, the glow dims. Abigail pays it no mind. This will not be strange to her either. I hurry to catch up, though she's only gotten a few steps away. We're almost there. It's just up ahead. Through the trees, I can already see where she's taking me. Splashes of brilliant pink peeks out just ahead, mostly obscured by the barren brown trees. I don't even have time to be curious about what they are before we arrive. Oh my god! Oh, that is gorgeous! Wow! A splendid grove of colourful trees spread out before us, surrounding a small pond that must be enchanted. The leaves that hang from the trees are salmon pink, flecked with flickering lights. Lavender bushed crowd their bases, sparkling with dew or magic. While snow covers the ground all the way up to the shores of the pond, the trees themselves are devoid of it, much like the forest spirit's home. I wonder if the two are related somehow. Even more remarkable, though, is that the pond itself is also unfrozen. Its glassy surface is smooth, save for the occasional ripple that spurts across. It's small enough that I can see clear across to the other side. It makes this place feel even more secret and hidden. You could wander the forest for years and never stumble across it. I move slowly towards the water. This place deserves calmness. Oh, Abigail! It's beautiful. The water laps at my feet, though remains undisturbed. Like a vampire, I have no reflection, a fact that I pointedly try to ignore. Where are we? What makes this place so special? I just need to add, just out of my own nitpicky thing, while of course vampire lore differs from fiction to fiction, The traditional reason as to why vampires don't have a reflection is because old mirrors used silver in them, and silver is a holy metal, and as a result, it reflects your soul, and as a result, the vampire that doesn't have a soul can't be reflected in the silver mirror, which means that something that doesn't contain silver should still reflect the vampire. This is why in a lot of more modern vampire media, things like phone cameras can capture vampires actually, because it's a digital camera. Of course it was to capture the vampire. But of course that also differs from lore to lore, as I mentioned, but I just think it's a fun little anecdote to add, just because, I'm a vampire nerd. I should have stopped as a vampire. I'm a vampire. I don't know if you knew that. I'm a vampire. I like vampires. Anyway, where are we? What makes this place so special? This is one of my favorite places. Isn't it lovely? That's what makes it special. Her eyes twinkle conspiratorially. Well, I'm sorry. Her eyes twinkle conspiratorially. Fairies? There's a beat of silence. I feel like I should be surprised at her answer, but I'm not. After everything I've seen, fairies are downright mundane. I remember her mentioning them before, too. I look around, wondering if I missed them hiding somewhere, but I don't see anything. Abigail laughs. Just as decorators. They aren't around right now. They much prefer the nighttime. They're far more active in the moonlight. You can see traces of them, though. As an example, she cups one of the icicle-like baubles that hang from the trees. Inside, a faint light beats like a heart, dim enough to be invisible in the daytime. I'm sure they're around, watching, but I've only met them once, myself. It may be years before you do. There it is again. The promise of eternity spent like this. I bite my lip. I think that's okay with me. I've had enough magic for 1 week. Yes, understandable. She walks back to the shore of the pond and sits down. I take a seat beside her. Really though, thank you for bringing me here. It's nice. I'm glad. I wanted to show you that everything about it is bad. That unlife does have its own little moments of niceness. I look at her, but she's staring pointedly away, towards the pond. Her cheeks redden a little bit. Unlife is a good word for it. Do you think so? I worried before you woke up that I would have forgotten how to speak or forgotten words. I talked to myself to keep in practice, waiting for a day when I would meet someone again. That's also why I sing, so I don't forget how much I enjoy it, even if nobody listens. I know that it's silly, but sometimes a bit of silliness can be what helps me keep going. Big mood. Right there, big mood. I don't think it's silly at all. Besides, if I could sing like you, I'm sure I do it all the time too. I could teach you if you'd like. Oh no, you don't know what you're getting into. I'm pretty sure I'm unteachable when it comes to singing. You'd have birds flying miles away instead of coming to listen. She laughs. Come now. I'm sure it can't be that bad. I knew nothing of singing when I first started. I simply practiced and practiced. Everything gets easier with practice and time. My singing voice has got to be the one exception. My middle school choir teacher even told me there's no way I would ever be a singer. It was one of the most traumatic days of my 12 short years back then. In all of existence? Out of everything. In that case, I suppose I must hear it, just to know. You can't promise something like that and then not demonstrate. No way. Not happening. What if we sang a duet? Definitely not. Oh, you're no fun. She playfully swipes at my shoulder. Are there any instruments you enjoy? Any that I've heard of, that is. Piano. I've taken lessons since I was a little girl. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I miss it. I flex my fingers, staring down at them, remembering the feeling of keys. Even before coming out here, it had been a while since I played. I don't think I ever consciously stopped, it just happened over time. Most of the time, the only music I'd have the opportunity to listen to was during prayers, or the occasional traveling performer. Sometimes I convinced Mr. Braun, who played the organ, to show me some of the pieces he'd learned in the city. She says it with a sly smile, sharing some private joke with me. Do you remember the names of any of the pieces? I wonder if I've heard of them. Oh yes, there was, She bites her nail, thinking about it. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. She squirms, wiggling around like she's hoping the memory will fall into place. Finally, she shakes her head. Maybe not. It seems I've forgotten. Do you think there's a chance, though? Are you very familiar with songs from, well, my time? Some of them, yeah. A lot of the most famous and respected composers come from those days, from this part of the world, too. Abigail sighs wistfully and looks off in the distance. I'm glad to hear that. They must be magnificent to be remembered so many years later. How nice that must be, to leave behind a legacy, to be missed. To be missed. The way she says it is wistfully, a dreamy sigh, like something that she longs for. I glance over, half expecting her to be crying, but her face is steady and calm. She catches me looking and smiles. I'm sorry. I'm just feeling a little nostalgic. You don't need to apologize. I like hearing what's on your mind. I'm glad. It would be rather unfortunate if, after everything, we didn't get along. We both laugh at the idea. I do have another question, though. A personal one. I know you said I can ask you anything, but, I meant it. Please, go ahead. Well, before you said that you've never even tried to go back, escape, whatever the right word for it would be. Why is that? Doesn't it bother you, being stuck like this? Abigail scratches the soft dirt beneath us. Of course, her finger moves impotently through it, changing nothing. If you don't want to answer, that's okay. I don't mind. I'm just thinking of what to say. So, I suppose you've been thinking about it a lot, right? How to, go back. I nod. Almost constantly. I don't know if it's possible or anything, but don't get me wrong, I'm beyond grateful that you saved me at all, but it feels like we're so close to being alive, but not. Everything's changed, but at the same time it's like nothing has. I don't feel much different, but everything's different. I have a whole life out there, or at least I did. I can't just forget about it, or move on, or give up, or something. I understand. She's quiet, and I wonder if I went too far, if I asked something that I shouldn't have. In a lot of ways, it's one of the most intimate and personal questions I could possibly ask. Then she shifts around to face me better. I didn't have much time left. Once I moved on, my family and those I care about, I had no desire to return to them. And then time started to pass. At first, the days felt slow, torturously slow. I did nothing but sit around and mope, never straying far from the forest spirit who had saved me. But then, I started to explore more, to get to know the forest, find moments of happiness. But it was still terribly lonely, of course. It has been, until you got here. But I can honestly say that I didn't hate it. I sang, I watched, I found my own joy where I could. Eventually, time left me behind. The people I'd known grew old and died. I'm sure many forgot about me, long before I forgot about them. At some point, there was nothing for me to want to go back to. The rest of the world outside this forest is just a maze that I don't know how to navigate. Here, in the forest, I know nearly all there is to know. There's no grief, or loss, or pain. There's just peace. Before I can respond, she stands up, brushing away imaginary dirt from her gown. Would you feel up for another walk through the woods? Perhaps this time I can show you where the wisest, most handsome-looking owl snacks. Wait, what? Oh, perhaps this time I can show you where the wisest, most handsome-looking owl nests. It's been so long since I've said hello to him. She offers me a hand. I take it, and the obvious subject change. And she helps me to my feet. Sure, let's go. With a smile, she leads me back towards the trees. So many of the conversations that I have with Abigail are painful reminders, either of the years of solitude she's endured or what I can look forward to in my own future. Both make me certain of one thing. I'm glad that she's here with me. Oh shit. We're switching to Morgan. Or not. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Sorry about the sniffling there. As I mentioned, I am sick at the moment. Okay. It's been days since Evelyn... Wow, no, that's wrong. It's been... Okay. It's been days since Evelyn attacked Tara. Since Galadura spoke to her. Days of fruitless searching for Maddie, and Tara is still trying to act like she's okay. She pores over every piece of local history we can find. She makes jokes, she tells stories. She pretends she isn't losing hope every day we don't find Maddie. She's lying. It's her body that tells the truth. She pulls me closer when she's under me. Wow. Wow. Wow, Morgan, you really had to bring it into I mean, fair dues. She stays in my arms for longer than she did before. I doubt she even notices she's doing it, but years spent hiding my emotions have made me pretty good at spotting it in someone else. Is she doing it for me? For herself? Both? That's the only thing I still don't know. Morgan? I can hear Tara's voice calling from the kitchen. I smell the smoke a second later. I'm out of the bedroom before I realize I'm moving. My mind fills up with a million possibilities. What if Evelyn's already here? What if the cabin's burning? What if... I think I owe you a new pan. Tara's fidgeting nervously. A cloud of black smoke billows from the pan on the stove. I can't even tell what was supposed to be in it. Wherever it was, it's charcoal now. You guys don't have, like, a fire extinguisher here, right? I let out a breath I was holding. I shouldn't have panicked like that, I'm just glad she's okay. We don't need one. Let me see that. I walk past her and grab the pan. Before she can say anything, I open the door and toss whatever was in the pan into the snow. I run a rag under the tap and toss it to her. Why don't you get the smoke off the wall before it stains? I'll take care of this. I'm still coming down from my adrenaline. I have to make a conscious effort to say it as gently as possible. I don't want her to think I'm mad at her. She seems happy being given something to do, and she apparently collapsed on the floor, according to that animation. She smiles and tries to salute, but with the wrong hand. She ends up slapping herself in the face with a wet rag. I swear she does stuff like that on purpose sometimes. While Tara scrambles to duty, I start washing out the charred remains still clinging to the pan. After a few moments, Tara shuffles nervously behind me. You don't cook much, do you? Does not cooking at all fall under not cooking much? Because if so, yeah. Then why did you... Her eyes flick towards the counter and I follow her gaze. There's a tray sitting there. It's a mess. A piece of clumsily sliced fruit, a cup of liquid, blackened toast. You were making me breakfast. Tara looks guilty. Yeah, well, you know... She looks down and starts fidgeting with her shirt. I figured that since we're leaving the cabin, it'd be a waste to just leave it here, and I don't know, you've been really helpful and stuff. I thought maybe I could pay you back a bit, but I just wasted the food anyway. My mind reels. I can't utter a single sound. I don't really have any friends. The few people I'm on good terms with would never do something like this. Evelyn stopped preparing meals for me the instant I could make them for myself, and even when she did, weren't much more than leftovers of what she made for herself. It was a dumb idea, sorry. My body moves on its own, my arms outstretched and wrap around her. Before I know it, I'm reaching up to her face and pressing my lips against hers. The minute I actually process what I'm doing, I pull away and drop my arms to my sides. We both stand there awkwardly for a moment before I'm able to speak. Thank you. You're thanking me for screwing up breakfast? I'm thanking you for trying. Oh, right. I guess that makes sense. I doubt someone like her would understand why this means so much to me. She has good people in her life. Random acts of kindness must be commonplace for her. But for me, I've never been treated as anything but a tool. I spent years turning the idea in my head, thinking that I deserved it. It was easy enough to believe. So this moment means more to me than I could possibly say. Even if I actually knew how to talk to people, I couldn't do it. The best I can do is try to repay it in kind. Maybe we could make something together. After all your videos have taught me, I'd be happy to teach you a few things in return. Are you sure? I mean, I know literally nothing about cooking. All I do is slow you down. She's protesting, but the smile on her face makes it clear how much she really wants to do this. Seeing the grin in person is way more radiant than seeing it through a screen. Yeah, you just said that like a little while ago, but yeah. That's okay. I'll take the lead and we can go slow. No, I bet that's not the first time Morgan told her that. I take her hand again. She squeezes it and I squeeze back. Now, let's start with teaching you how to use a stove without burning the house down. That's probably a good one to know, yeah. I grab some sausages from the fridge and toss them in the now clean pan before putting it back on the stove. Okay, so you're going to want to have the heat a little lower than the absolute maximum for this one. I figured the higher it went, the faster it would cook. Technically you're right, but that's also how you burn things beyond recognition. I move behind her and put her hand on the pan handle, pressing against her back to move her hand side to side. Keeping it in motion is a good way to make sure it cooks evenly. Right, cool. I take her through the basics. She handles instructions surprisingly well. It helps that she's eager to learn. After the sausage, we move to toast, then coffee. She's sloppy, but she makes it work. You're doing great. I'm impressed. Well, doing it with you is a pretty effective motivator. Very subtle. When am I anything but? We finish up the eggs, then sit down to eat. She powers through her meal, finishing before me halfway through. Holy shit, that was so good! Looks like you're a better cook than you thought. Oh please, that was like 25% me, at most. But thank you. I definitely learned enough to surprise Mads when she gets back. The mention of Maddie instantly sucked some of the joy out of the room. Nice as this had been, I know it's only temporary shelter from the clouds still looming over our heads. Her smile doesn't falter at all, but I can see her eyes twitch slightly as she speaks. I wish I could think of something reassuring to say. I try just agreeing with her, but I know how hollow it would sound. But once again, she pushes it back inside. I know how that feels, although I have a much harder time smiling afterwards. And the best part is, we don't have to wash any of the dishes since we're leaving after this. We're washing the dishes. Oh, come on! She reluctantly drags herself over to the sink. I remain seated and continue eating. A few seconds later, Tara reappears casually. Hey, quick question? It should be okay if we leave Maddie's stuff here, right? I'd hate for her to come back and be missing all of her super important films. It should be fine. With us out of the way, Evelyn won't have any reason to focus on the cabin anymore. Hey, Morgan, can you come here for a sec? I jog down the hallway to find her staring at a hefty black bag sitting in the hall. What's that? It's Matt's camera equipment. I was just thinking that maybe we should shoot a video before we leave. Like, film an episode? Not quite. More like a summary of what happens. For reference, kinda like a black box in a plane. That way, if... Her voice trails off. She doesn't have to finish the sentence for me to know what she's saying. That way there'll be a record. Something that could help anyone else who decides to look into this. A dead drop. She flinches at the term. It's probably a bit too morbid for her liking. It's worth a shot. I can help you film it. Are you sure? That's a professional quality camera. Even I don't know half the shit it does works. Even if I don't know half the shit it does works, that's Maddie's domain. I'm sure I can figure something out. It can't be too hard to get the basics down. I grab the bag and sling it over my shoulder, then grab the tripod with my other hand. Alright, let's get to work. Okay, so, wait, hang on, I think I've got it. No, that's just going to act as the archive. We need to get the focus right for the main shoot. Things aren't going well. Neither of us can figure out how to work the camera. My only contribution has been getting it on the tripod. Most of the terms Tara's using fly over my head. She claims that Maddie's the one who knows all about how to make it work, but even her limited understanding is worlds away from mine. I'm sorry. I wish I could do more. Don't sweat it, you're doing fine. Did Tara's moon shirt just change? Wasn't it like more of a crescent moon earlier? Is she going to have a full moon shirt at the end of the game? Lie. Maddie never taught me much. She, makes the videos. I used to do the talking. Her voice is quiet. Maybe this was a bad idea. All it seems to be doing is making her miss Maddie even more. I'm sure as hell not good enough to replace her. At least I finally managed to get the camera to a point where it's actually filming. Oh shit, you got it! She's humoring me. The picture isn't even close to being in focus, and I somehow managed to make the colors even more washed out than this place already is. It doesn't look anything like her most recent videos. I can do better. There are still settings I haven't tried. Tara claps me on the back, a bit too hard. She's so obvious. Don't worry about it. This stuff is confusing. Maybe a blur will make it look more mysterious or something. Sure. She leans against a tree in front of the camera. On her signal, I hit what I hope is record. I give her a slight nod, and she's off. Hello, everybody! Welcome to a very special, not quite an episode of Terranormal. We had a lot of crazy shit go down in the past couple of weeks, so Morgan and I are putting this together to make sure we don't miss anything. Who's Morgan, you ask? She's our inside woman, as they say. We wouldn't have found any of the stuff I'm about to tell you about if not for her. And she's been a hell of an assistant, too. Mads will be manning the camera right now, but she's not here right now. It's complicated. Her voice dips for a moment before launching back into her professional cheeriness. So, where to begin? Well, I suppose I should start with a little story about a spirit, also known as the only time I've ever had fun in church. She launched into her story, but I haven't taken a single moment to think about it. I feel like I'm watching her transform in front of me. Her uncertainty is gone, her anxiety is gone. That melancholy she's had inside her since Mary disappeared is gone. It's like she's glowing. I love this animation. We're just switching through like all of the various Terra sprites. Even like the one with the the little notebook. Where is it? Come on. Come back, notebook. Come back, notebook. I know you're there. Oh, it's not gonna do it now? There it is! Love that. I wish I could tell her how wonderful it is to see, but I know I'd never be able to say something like that. God. You can tell this game is written by, or at least co-written by lesbians, because the lesbians in this game, they sure are terrible about telling each other that they're in fucking love with them. Like, God, you already had sex. And yeah, Tara said, hey, it's just sex, but like, it's pretty obvious she likes you more and like, you like her more. Just fucking tell her. But I know, we're all like that. Like, it's a running gag within the lesbian community about how like, no matter how far two girls go together, they will still doubt that the other one likes them. So yeah, it's very on brand and accurate is what I'm getting at. Anyway, that's pretty much all we have right now. Hopefully Mads will be back soon. I hear her voice shake for a fraction of a second. She corrects it instantly, but I know I heard it. I'm not gonna lie, there's some bad shit out there. Maddie got caught up in it somehow, but it's nothing that's gonna last. Am I in danger too? Sure. But that's nothing new for me. You're talking to the girl who nearly got eaten by a bear because park rangers suck at their jobs. I'm just making this so we don't have to have as much to go over when we find her. The dry air out here is a killer on my throat, so I could use the help. She coughs loudly. I'm not sure if it's real or just for emphasis. And Evelyn, if you find this, know that we're gonna make you pay for what you did. Her voice breaks again. This time it's unmistakable. Maybe this was a bad idea. She takes it in before she starts talking again. Her voice is shaky. Her face is a strange expression I've never seen before. I'll do whatever I have to do, you know? If you're watching, I want you to know that. Can you just give me my friend back? Can you do that now? I'll do anything. I swear. I don't care if we find any more evidence. I don't need anything else from this trip. I just want Maddie back. I can't watch this anymore. I leave the camera and run to her side. I throw my arms around her and I feel her body sink into mine. I'm sorry, Tara. I'm so sorry. I wrap my arms tighter as I feel her legs give out. It's all I can do to keep her upright as she starts to sob into my shoulder. Her knee settles in my chest. I've never had to do anything like this before. But I had to try. I had to do something. What the fuck? There's a choice. How many hours into this are we? 8? Something like that? Like, first choice. And apparently we're back on chapter 3, so that was a bug. Or not a bug, it was an error in the code. I should let the Studio Élan know about that, actually. I don't know who I should who of them I should tell about it, because I talked to more than one of them, but I'll let them know. Okay, let's see. Wow, okay. First choice, and it's Morgan's. On one hand, it's good that Tara is finally, like, letting this out. And in that regard, she should be allowed to mourn. On the other hand, given the situation and what we have to do, especially if we actually want to save Maddie, she needs her resolve. God. I didn't think there would be any choice. I thought this was a kinetic novel. This is hard. I don't know how much it will like influence things either. I'm going to go with letting. She needs. Oh wow. Oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to go with her having to mourn, actually. I feel like that's the right choice, but this is a really hard choice, honestly. Everything that's happened has been my fault. There's probably nothing I could say that would make up for that. Maybe I should say anything, just hold her like this. Physical comfort is all I'm good at, after all. I'll take care of her. It's the least I can do. I lower her down to the ground slowly. I don't even feel the snow on me. Take your time. Getting it out will help. This is all such bullshit. Why would she take Matt? She wasn't causing any trouble. She grabs handfuls of my sweater where her hands rest against me. I don't stop her. I could have helped her. I could have talked this out with her, but I didn't. Because of that, I squeeze her tighter. There's nothing else I can do. I give up on thinking of something to say. I'm better at saying nothing anyway. I should have let her stay home. I should have listened to her when we were out there. She pulls away from me and sits down in the snow. Then she smiles. It's a bitter, broken smile. The kind of smile you can only form when you don't know what else to do. I just keep ruining things. Tara, you aren't the reason the two of you came here. I was. This is on me. She has to know I'm right deep down. I don't want her to hate me. I'd much rather she hate me than hate herself. So, I hold Tara. I hold her with as much tenderness as I can, and she breaks into heaving sobs on my shoulder. I feel her body rocking with loss and pain, and her hot tears fall and freeze on the ground below us. I let her feel the extent of her grief. It's a pain I can never understand. The pain of losing someone important to you. Meeting Tara, I've only just started to know what that bond is like, but it can't compare to what she has with Maddie. Tara's wailing grows muffled as she buries her face in my chest and hugs me tightly. Hesitantly, I stroke her hair in return. Time passes. Eventually, Tara grows quiet. She sniffles and shakes in my arms, but relaxes with each breath. I never found any words to say. We sit there, together, until finally, Tara lifts herself from me, her face red and puffy. She gives me a weak smile and wipes her face. I start to pack up the camera as she cleans herself up. It seems like this might have helped after all. I should probably just leave it be and head back with her, but one thought keeps burning in my head. I have to tell her. Tara? Huh? I'm going to make sure you get Maddie back. No matter what. She stares at me like I spoke to her in another language. And she finally gives me a smile that doesn't have an ounce of sorrow in it. I know! If anyone can, it's you. I'm not sure what she means by that. I hope she's not thinking of the same thing I am. She probably thinks I'm just talking big, like I'm some brave knight about to go kill a dragon. I wish that was true. But I'm thinking about the one way I know I can save her. The way that only I can. And that's to give Evelyn what she wants. Me. Oh shit. Oh shit. No, Morgan, you can't do that. You can't let Tara... You can't have Tara lose you, too. God, oh, my poor lesbians, they're all such a mess. Let's continue a little bit longer before we end, actually. We don't talk on the ride back. Tara doesn't even fidget. I figured the wet pants would make sitting still even harder for her than it already is, but she's completely still. It isn't until we stop in a village that she speaks. I hope you don't think I'm mad at you for bringing us out here. You aren't? Nah. I know you just wanted to make something good happen for all of us. Things just didn't work out that way, is all. Besides, Her voice trails off into mumbles. After a moment, she takes a deep breath and restarts. Say it! Fucking say it! Coming here meant I got to meet you. I'm sure as hell not complaining about that. I'm sure you met plenty of fans in person. Yeah, but you're not just a fan. Not to me. You're a lot more than that. What are you saying? She suddenly looks away from me. I think she's trying to hide the fact that she's blushing, poorly. I don't know, I haven't ever really met anyone like you before, it's all. For a moment, strange thoughts fill my head. I want her to say more than that. I don't know what I want it to be, I just want more. But I know better than to ask for that. If it helps, I haven't met anyone like you before either. Well, I could have told you that one. I am one of a kind, you know. No arguments there. I'm having a hard time looking at her. I don't know why. This is a new feeling. I push it away and reach for the carriage door instead. There's a weird air in the carriage now. Let's get inside. We still got to figure out how much of your stuff we can fit in my closet. I mean, I could just leave some of my clothes on the floor. That's what I do at home. Not happening. I like being able to see my floor. Can't blame a girl for trying. I can't help laughing. She laughs too. She's going to be okay. I know she will. And I'm going to make sure she stays that way. Oh dear. And back to Maddie we go. Okay, yeah. Oh, wow. They're going to the cabin and it's going to be too late because they just left. Yeah, okay, we're going to be ending it right here. For now, thank you for watching, and we'll continue tomorrow. I should have time tomorrow, yeah. So yeah, we will do that. Thank you for everything as usual. Bye.